Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Bachelor Nation News fans. While Grant Ellis has attracted backlash for his stint on The Bachelor, Grant may not deserve the harsh criticism he received. Grant entered the competition with one goal: to find his future wife and mother of his children. The lead was met by 25 contestants, all vying for his affection. His season has been especially dramatic, as Grant was the first Bachelor announced before applications opened. Subsequently, all of his contestants entered the Bachelor Season 29 with a particular interest in Grant. Grant's diplomatic nature made eliminations and interpersonal fights a challenge. Several contestants found themselves at the forefront of the drama, including Carolina Sophia and Zoe McGrady. When these women began ruffling feathers, Grant wanted to hear from all sides, but his focus on the drama left him little time to connect with his potential wife. Grant ultimately fell for several women and struggled to make a final decision. His confusion left some contestants heartbroken, but Grant seemed overwhelmed with the process. Grant shouldn't be blamed for a flawed system. Grant tried to validate everyone's feelings. As a lead, Grant was not expected to mediate fights, but this Bachelor went out of his way to appease everyone. When Carolina made claims regarding Rose's song, Grant went right to the source. Rose admitted she misunderstood Grant and believed he told her he was thinking of her while dancing with the other women. Grant held her accountable and expressed his displeasure. Rose ultimately self-eliminated, but this was brought on by Carolina's actions rather than Grant's confrontation. This happened on several more occasions. When Carolina expressed uncertainty regarding the process and a marriage to Grant, Juliana Pasquarosa called her out. This conversation went badly, and Carolina was left in tears. Rather than ignoring the problem, Grant talked to both separately. Grant tried his best to make sure every contestant felt heard. Reality TV is known for encouraging drama, and Grant's intervention was not necessary. His involvement was likely discouraged as the show's ratings skyrocket when controversy peaks. Producers encourage the women to confront each other to help facilitate these explosive and viral moments. Business Insider discusses the overconsumption of alcohol while filming by writing, "The drinking is a way for producers to get contestants to open up, start drama, and forget about the cameras." Despite this, Grant made every effort to abate the drama and validate all parties. Several left the competition resentful of the others, but Grant should not be associated with the controversy he tried to shut down. Grant did his best to ensure a positive experience. Grant was going through the Bachelor process. Grant faced some struggles as a lead. The Bachelor's approximate 8-week dating period presents many challenges. These confusing and emotionally taxing circumstances were broached during Grant's final. Several alums who struggled with their final decision joined Jesse Palmer on stage to discuss their experience. These alums include The Bachelorette Season 20's Charity Lawson, The Bachelor Season 26's Clayton Echard, and The Golden Bachelor Season 1's Jerry Turner. Jerry had some particularly interesting comments about the challenges of leading a season. The former leads explained that these circumstances can leave one confused and overwhelmed. Jerry's advice for Grant was to follow his gut, but he backed up Grant's indecision as well, stating that one can fall for several women when so focused on finding their one and only. Grant was one of many who found themselves connecting with multiple contestants. His empathetic nature made eliminations hard, and Grant's indecision led some contestants on. Litia Garr was particularly affected by this dynamic, as Grant confessed his love for her before choosing Juliana at the last hour. Grant is far from the first Bachelor to upset his contestants. Clayton rejected his 2 finalists and asked his third runner-up to give him a second chance. Brad Womack of Season 11 left the show alone after asking one of the finalists' father's permission to marry. Grant's actions are far from radical. Grant made the right choice picking Juliana over Litia. Grant's decision to pick Juliana while shocking, was best for the couple. Litia was ready for a swift marriage and children. Grant wanted this future but needed time to pursue his dreams before committing to children. Juliana seems to share this sentiment. Grant has been criticized for this choice, but it's worth noting that his and Litia's plans for their future and religious ideologies didn't align. Grant and Juliana seem like a fantastic couple, and they should not be chastised for finding love. The Bachelor's lead has taken accountability for his actions. Now, he's finally in the right environment to grow. He smiled, and he handed out roses. But somewhere between the limo arrivals and the final proposal, The Bachelor's Grant Ellis became one of the most polarizing leads the franchise has ever seen. Fans are torn. Viewers either defend him to the ends of the earth or hurl every accusation his way. From playing both sides to leading on the final two women, Juliana Pasquarosa and Litia Garr, Grant has been dubbed everything from master manipulator to emotionally immature. But what if we told you the truth isn't as black and white as Bachelor Nation thinks? What if Grant Ellis isn't the bad guy at all? The origin of a villain idiot. Grant Ellis had all the makings of a perfect bachelor: charming, emotionally articulate, a slight southern drawl, and just enough vulnerability to make you root for him. But when you look closer at the edit he received, something doesn't quite add up. The producers needed a story, says a source close to the show, and Grant was too smooth, too in control, so they had to create conflict. Enter the love triangle with no real villain, until Grant was cast as one. Juliana Pasquarosa, the confident and fiercely independent frontrunner, was portrayed as the obvious choice. Litia Garr, the gentle yet guarded fan favorite, was the emotional heartbeat of the season. But as the season wrapped, viewers began to speculate. Did Grant mislead one, or both of them? Litia, the blind-sided sweetheart. Fans were stunned when Litia Garr, heart in hand, left the final rose ceremony in tears. Grant told her, "You made me believe in love again," just 1 week before he chose Juliana. Viewers felt betrayed for her. But behind the scenes, it wasn't as one-sided as people think. Insiders revealed that Litia had doubts about Grant's readiness for marriage weeks before the final. She told producers she wasn't sure Grant was her forever. A crew member spilled. They asked her to keep going for the sake of the show. Her connection with him was real, but it was already fading. Text messages leaked after filming. Yes, Litia's cousin apparently showed a friend screenshots. Showed Grant expressing gratitude for Litia's maturity in understanding why things ended. One message read, "You gave me clarity I didn't have before. You were honest with me when I needed it the most. Thank you for that." Wait, what? So why did Litia act so blindsided if she'd already voiced doubts? Some say it's the pressure of the cameras. Others think production played her heartbreak up for ratings. But maybe, just maybe, Grant didn't deceive her at all. Juliana Pasquarosa promised the fairy tale. After the final rose, Juliana emerged victorious and engaged. Yet public support for her was mixed. Many felt she came off too confident, even calculated. "She was always aware of the cameras," said one anonymous crew member. "She treated every conversation like it was a pitch for a brand deal." But Grant saw something in her that others didn't. Juliana listens, Grant told Caitlin Bristow on her podcast. "People always say she's too bold, but what's wrong with a woman knowing what she wants?" Despite criticism, their chemistry was undeniable. Off-camera, they traveled together, met each other's families, and even considered relocating. And yet, rumors swirled. Did Grant truly want to propose, or was he pressured by producers? Did Juliana force his hand? Juliana shut that down fast. "I didn't force anything. He got down on one knee because he wanted to," she told a tabloid. "And if people can't handle that we were in sync from day one, that's their issue." Their body language post-show says it all. intertwined fingers, lingering glances, inside jokes during interviews. Does that look like a man who regrets his decision? The one scene that broke the internet. Let's rewind to Fantasy Suites. That episode was pivotal, not for what was said, but for what wasn't. In his overnight with Litia, Grant looked distracted. Gone was the sparkle from earlier dates. Instead, there was contemplation, unease. His head was already with Juliana, one producer confided. He didn't want to hurt Litia, but he was trying to figure out how to end things gently. When the episode aired, fans attacked Grant for being cold and dishonest. But let's be real, is it really deception to not know how to break someone's heart? Grant wasn't playing a game. He was stalling a heartbreak he knew was inevitable. And if you've ever been on either side of a breakup, you know exactly how that feels. Posteas and ANARRITVE take as the dust settled after the finale, Bachelor Nation picked sides. Team Litia called for Grant's downfall. Team Juliana accused fans of sexism for criticizing a strong woman's win. No one knows what it's like until you're in it, he said in a subdued Instagram live. The emotions are real. The connections are real. The decisions, they're impossible. I'm not sure he was ever really ready, said Tyler Cameron. But in a surprising twist, Charity Lawson defended him. People see 5% of what actually happened, she commented. Grant did his best. That doesn't mean he got everything right, but he didn't fake his way through it. The FAMA life factor. One detail fans forget. Juliana was not initially liked by Grant's family. In a brutal hometown episode, his sister told him, "She's not what I pictured for you." That scene sparked speculation. Was Grant's final decision made to spite his family or to prove them wrong? According to Juliana, the answer is neither. We had private conversations after that, she shared, and they were tough, but we grew stronger from it. Grant's mom has since gone on record saying she loves Juliana and misunderstood her at first. So why wasn't that aired? You already know why. It didn't fit the Grant the villain narrative. The true villain? If Grant Ellis isn't the villain, then who is? Could it be the editors who spliced together misleading sound bites? Could it be the format that forces complex emotions into a neat love triangle? Could it be us, the viewers, who love a scandal more than a love story? Because let's face it, if Grant had picked Litia, people would say he was afraid of a strong woman like Juliana. And by picking Juliana, he was blinded by beauty and led Litia on. He couldn't win either way. Where they stand now. It's been 3 months since after the final rose, and Grant and Juliana are still together, quietly without fanfare. They scaled back on social media, reportedly to reconnect in private. We're working on us, Juliana said in a brief TikTok update. No cameras, no producers, just us. Litia, meanwhile, is thriving. She's launched a wellness podcast, partnered with a yoga brand, and hinted at writing a book. In a recent interview, she said, "I don't hate Grant. I was hurt, yes, but I've moved on, and I wish them well. No animosity, no drama, just healing." The final word, hero or villain. So, is Grant Ellis the bad guy? Did he deceive Juliana Pasquarosa or Litia Garr? Based on everything we know, the behind-the-scenes accounts, the context left on the cutting room floor, and the aftermath, the answer is clear. No, he didn't. Grant was a man caught between two very real connections, trying to navigate the impossible under a microscope. Was he perfect? Of course not. But was he malicious, manipulative, or deceitful? Not even close. EPILOGUE, a re-DMT artsy coming? Rumors are already swirling that Grant might return to the franchise, as a mentor, maybe even on Bachelor in Paradise. Would fans accept him? Or will they cling to the villain edit they were handed? Only time will tell. But if you ask us, the truth is simpler than the headlines. Grant Ellis isn't the bad guy, he's just human.